don't ever come between a man and his meal. I never forgot that either. Most niggas would have to run the streets for years to learn a lesson that profound. It took me 2 seconds. Never get between somebody and their paper. Taking a man's livelihood away from him is akin to killing him.
Dave Chappelle just shook the internet. He came through with receipts that suggest Shannon Sharpe's lawsuit might be a full-blown setup. And trust, it's getting real shady out here. So here's the deal. Just a few days ago, Shannon got hit with a bombshell lawsuit from a Jane Doe, who's now been identified as Gabrielle Zuniga. She's accusing him of some serious stuff, claiming he assaulted her multiple times, but here's where it's alone. According to him, she's being backed by some heavy-hitting folks with deep pockets who got one mission: shut down Club Shay Shay for good. Why? Well, turns out Shannon's been putting a spotlight on some major names through his podcast, and not everyone likes having their skeletons dragged out. But hold up, it gets way messier. The streets are talking, and word is Shannon's been playing a dangerous game himself. Allegedly, he's been collecting dirt on celebrities behind the scenes and using it to blackmail them. Yup, claims are floating around that he's been flipping interview convos into leverage. And now, looks like those same powerful people might be flipping it back on him. But don't think Dave is just cracking jokes. He's coming with that tea piping hot. So now the question is, which celeb did Shannon Sharpe allegedly try to black? Back when Club Shay Shay first started blowing up, Dave Chappelle was already sending warning shots to Shannon Sharpe, telling him straight up, be careful messing with these celebs. Hosting a podcast is cool, sure, but once the vibe shifted and it started feeling like Shannon was targeting A-list names, that's when the trouble really began. See, celebrities don't play nice when someone starts putting their secrets on blast, especially not when the one doing the exposing is another celebrity. That's like an unspoken code getting broken, and you know, egos in Hollywood don't take that lightly. Let's rewind to that wild Katt Williams interview from last year, the one that had the whole episode dropped. Dave stepped in with a bold message for Shannon. He said, but part of the game is this: he eat the ninjas. He didn't say anything about these white boys. None of these white boys function like that. Translation, Katt was going in on his own people, and Dave wasn't feeling it. Dave kept it real and asked why someone as talented as Katt, one of the best painters in the game, was drawing ugly pictures of us. That hit deep. Then he took it further, saying, "Why, stop. Hurt people, but I'm a hurt person that never hurt people, and he does it all the time." Oof, he didn't stop there. Dave accused them of trying to tear down other black comedians just to score clout. He said, if I told my story, it would break your heart. I lost everything and never told on anybody. Now he's watching Shannon act like he's the judge of truth. Katt wasn't holding back, and he came with a message that hit deep. Listen, my effort, Katt hard. But Dre, tell me, what part of the game is messing with another man's money? What part of the game is it to snitch on another brother? And let's be real, it wasn't hard to understand where he was coming from, because by then, celebrities were heated at Shannon.
Also take full responsibility for any and everything that I've done in business, good or bad. My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Katt was in that position at one point.
You were the guy. You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You off promo shoots. You off your promo trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studio stopped.
Why was he a risk?
He chose. Well, take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what, I gotta fix me, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna stand up for comedy. So when you say...
See, it's one thing when random fans are throwing shade or pushing wild conspiracy theories online. But when a fellow celebrity pulls up on another celeb's podcast and starts throwing names under the bus, that hits way different. The industry took it personal. It wasn't just gossip, it felt like betrayal. People started asking, where's the loyalty at? No, because Club Shay Shay wasn't just interviewing people, it was dropping bombshells. Y'all remember that explosive Katt Williams interview, right? The one that lit 2024 on fire? That moment set off a chain reaction of exposés, drama, and celebrity clapbacks. That video hit over 80 million views, the most watched podcast interview on the entire platform. That's not just viral, that's cultural impact. But that impact came with a price. That same interview rubbed a lot of celebs the wrong way, and that's when the heat started closing in on Shannon Sharpe. Truth is, Katt went in on Hollywood, calling out names and throwing punches. And, yeah. Some people started saying it felt more like bitterness than bravery, especially since Katt's career hadn't exactly been on top in recent years. So folks started saying Katt was only going so hard because he was low-key jealous, like all that smoke was really coming from a place of bitterness. And one of the first celebs he came for, none other than Cedric the Entertainer, Katt dragged Cedric, accusing him of being a straight-up joke thief. He said Cedric had been stealing material from other comedians and then fronting like it was all his original work. Katt didn't stop there. He doubled down, calling Cedric a fraud for not writing his own jokes and relying on other people to carry his act. That hit deep in comedy circles.
Hey, Kev, you didn't say nothing to Katt Williams when he did a 3-hour interview talking slow yesterday. You didn't put a shot clock on him.
Do you entertain the circus or do you watch it, Perk? Which one do you do? What do you do? You watch it. You know, man, look at that lion riding the bike. That's what you say.
Naturally, Cedric wasn't having it. He clapped back hard on Instagram, brushing off Katt's claims as nothing more than twisted facts. Cedric said, revisionist history. Regardless of whatever Katt's opinion, my career can't be reduced to one joke Katt Williams claims is his. And he wasn't lying. Cedric pointed out that he starred in over 40 movies, and his specials speak volumes about his talent and longevity. He even reminded folks that he once put Katt on, back when he included him at the Gibson Amphitheater. Then Cedric threw in some grown man energy, calling Katt's tough talk corny and making it very clear, I'm a grown man and none of this stuff gonna go like you think. You do you, I got this over here. But Cedric wasn't the only one ready to fire back, because Kevin Hart also jumped in and lit Katt up all over social media. Kevin Hart didn't hold back. He straight up called Katt Williams a clown who belongs in the circus. And honestly, it's tough to blame Kevin for snapping, because Katt had already been throwing heavy shade his way long before this. Katt accused Kevin of being fake, saying his polished, super successful image was just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. According to Katt, the version of Kevin we see on camera is all carefully crafted, like it's not the real him at all. But to be fair, Katt taking aim at Kevin didn't come out of nowhere. These two, they've had tension brewing for years. The drama really started bubbling when Katt began calling out the industry, claiming he got blackballed for keeping it too real and refusing to follow Hollywood's rules. That narrative didn't sit right with Kevin. He pulled up to the Breakfast Club and aired it all out, saying Katt didn't get pushed out for being too real. He got pushed out because of his own behavior. Kevin said plain and simple, Katt was hard to work with, always in mess, and the industry just got tired of dealing with it.
Thirdly, you call yourself coming at me, right? You want to be aggressive with me, right? Listen, you showed poise, respect, wherewithal, resolve, compassion, reverence. But Skip Bayless, why are you so aggressive anytime somebody black say something? The man said, put your glasses on, and you put your glasses back on. Don't play with me. Put your glasses back on, Shannon.
So when Katt popped up on Club Shay Shay and threw more heat, it felt like payback for what Kevin said on air. But Kevin wasn't about to stay quiet. He fired back again, doubling down by calling Katt a clown and saying he belongs right back in that circus tent. After that wild interview dropped, both Shannon and Katt caught major backlash. They were getting dragged online for weeks. And it didn't stop there. Even rapper Mahe jumped into the mess, accusing Shannon of being anti-black. Yeah, it got that real. Machi called out a big shift in Shannon's vibe. He pointed out how loud Shannon gets when it's time to speak on black issues, but how quiet he stays when it involves someone white. That silence? It had folks giving Shannon the side eye, and Katt's interview only turned up the heat. But things really started spiraling when Monique stepped into the chat. That interview, it took the whole situation to another level. At that point, people were saying Shannon wasn't just letting guests speak, he was pushing a targeted narrative. It started looking like he had an agenda, like he was going out of his way to spotlight big-name black celebrities and paint them in a bad light. And just like Katt, Monique came with smoke. She didn't hold anything back, dropping names like Tyler Perry, Oprah, and Kevin Hart. Monique said what she had to say and didn't care who felt uncomfortable. She told her side about being blackballed in Hollywood, how Oprah and Tyler Perry allegedly shut doors on her after she refused to do extra promo for Precious without getting paid. According to Monique, she did what was in her contract, nothing more. But when she said no to unpaid press runs, everything allegedly flipped on her. And quick, let's not get it twisted. Getting blackballed in Hollywood ain't just a minor inconvenience. It's a full-on domino effect that can shut down your career before you even see it coming. Once powerhouses like Oprah and Tyler Perry turned their backs on Monique, the whole industry fell in line real quick. Folks didn't even want to be seen next to her. scared they'd get caught in the crossfire and end up blacklisted too. It was like Monique became radioactive. Nobody wanted that smoke. But according to her, one person did try to stand up at first, Kevin Hart. Monique said Kevin came through acting like a real one, telling her he had her back, calling himself her ride or die, and showing support when it looked like everything around her was crumbling. And even though she was already iced out by the industry, she believed him. Kevin made it seem real, like he genuinely cared. But after all those promises, Kevin switched up, cold. Out of nowhere, he ghosted her like she never existed, just vanished. And what hurt the most, he didn't even end things face to face. He didn't call, he didn't explain. Instead, he sent other people to cut her off like she was nothing. That move had her feeling completely, but Kevin throwing her under the bus behind the scenes. She says he was out here sweet-talking Tyler Perry, trying to stay in good graces while selling her out in the process. That's not just fake, that's calculated. So now cliche these days. Even DL Hughley had to speak out. He put Shannon Sharpe on blast, accusing him of being messy and letting his guests push straight-up lies and twisted narratives about other celebrities. DL basically said Shannon's podcast turned into a drama machine and that he's just letting people talk reckless with no filter. But if you thought that was wild, buckle up, because it's about to get even worse. Word on the street is that Shannon's allegedly been out here blackmailing celebrities with all the tea he collects from his podcast interviews. And here's where it gets dirty. Rumor has it he's been editing out the spiciest, most damaging parts of those convos, and then holding it over people's heads for leverage. Now, we don't know for sure how real this is, but if it is true, it definitely explains why so many powerful people might be moving in to take him down. And the timing couldn't be more suspicious. See, this lawsuit from Jane Doe, it hit right before Shannon was set to announce a massive new deal for Club Shay Shay, reportedly worth over $100 million. That deal was lined up after his contract with Colin Cowherd's The Volume Network ended. So yeah, real convenient timing for someone who wanted to stop that bag and shut the podcast down for good. Even Shannon's lawyer hinted at it in his official statement. He said the accuser was well aware that Shannon was about to land a huge payday and that she took advantage of that. His exact words? This is, in my opinion, the classic definition of blackmail, one that gives the greatest leverage to the blackmailer. And let's be clear, this statement is in response to the Jane Doe lawsuit, where she accused Shannon of manipulation, control, and serious allegations involving sexual misconduct. Back in October 2024 and again in January 2025, the claims against Shannon Sharpe took an even darker turn. According to the lawsuit, he straight up ignored her pleas to stop, brushing off her cries and screams, refusing to take no for an answer. The allegations include threats and physical aggression, and they're disturbing to say the least.
Well, Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. So Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes on Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that.
Jane Doe, who's now identified as Gabrielle Zuniga, says she was just 19 years old when she first got involved with Shannon, who was 54 at the time. Let that sink in. But for Shannon, it seems like the age gap was no issue. To him, it was like age ain't nothing but a number and no ain't nothing but a word, based on the way these accusations are laid out. One of the most unsettling parts, she says Shannon used to record their intimate moments without her knowledge, claiming the videos were for personal use. But it didn't stop there. She also accused him of sharing those videos with friends on multiple occasions without her consent. That's wild if true. And then comes the part that really raised eyebrows. Gabrielle's lawyer claims that Shannon's team offered her $10 million to not file the lawsuit. That's not just hush money, that's a desperate move. And here's the kicker, Shannon's own lawyer confirmed the offer. So what does that mean? Either Shannon's guilty of something major, or he was so scared of the public fallout that he tried to throw millions at the problem just to keep it under wraps. Gabrielle's attorney, none other than Tony Busby? Yeah, that guy. He said, in early February, our office contacted Mr. Sharpe on behalf of Jane Doe to discuss the possibility of a meeting. After several conversations, we proceeded to a mediation. The mediation between Gabrielle Zuniga and Shannon Sharpe reportedly dragged on for over 6 weeks, with Shannon eventually making what's being called an incredibly significant settlement offer. But here's the twist. Jane Doe rejected the huge payout and went forward with filing the lawsuit anyway. Her lawyer later revealed the exact number, $10 million. Yup, Shannon allegedly offered Gabrielle $10 million in writing to make the whole thing disappear, and her team set it straight. On one hand, Mr. Sharpe and his lawyers say this case has no merit, but on the other hand, he was willing to drop $10 million to stop it from even going public. That statement rocked the whole situation, because if the case was really baseless, why offer that kind of money? According to Gabrielle's lawyer, it was clear. She wasn't trying to be silenced. She turned it down and chose to take this all the way to court, but once she did, the heat turned all the way up. Now Shannon's legal team is trying to flip the narrative. They've started leaking old texts from Jane Doe to paint her in a different light, trying to make her look like the aggressor. The messages? Wild. In one of them, she allegedly told Shannon, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're f***ing me." These leaked texts were clearly meant to discredit her character and shift public opinion fast. Gabrielle's team fired back, saying this is just what they expected. Sharpe and his people trying to attack and dox both her and her lawyer to distract from the actual case. Okay, things just hit another level. Leaked texts from Gabrielle Zuniga are making rounds, and they're straight up explicit.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so...
I don't want to be... Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you. You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
In one message, she allegedly wrote, $20,000 for each cheek. Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then you can do whatever you want to me. It didn't stop there. She reportedly added, I want to put my tongue in your a-hole and then marry you. That's my daddy. I want you to put a big black baby in me. You better crave it, dude, because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you do. Whew. Yeah, that's a lot. But these messages weren't just posted for shock value. They were part of a very calculated move by Shannon Sharpe's legal team to fight back against the lawsuit. In a fiery public statement, his camp fired back hard. This lawsuit filed by Gabrielle Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. They claim Gabrielle tried to pressure Shannon into a huge settlement using a secretly recorded video of an intimate encounter. According to his team, the footage was heavily edited and completely taken out of context. They say she's twisting a consensual moment into something else entirely to make it look non-consensual. Shannon's side argues that the entire relationship was between two consenting adults, and that it involved role play, adult fantasy, and explicit language that she allegedly initiated and requested. The texts and the tape, they say, are being used to falsely portray the situation and push a false narrative of misconduct. They didn't hold back either, saying straight up that Mr. Sharpe denies all allegations of coercion, assault, and misconduct. His legal team calls it a gross lie and an egregious attempt at blackmail. Shannon Sharpe says he's standing 10 toes down on the truth and isn't backing off. His legal team made it clear he's ready to fight these claims hard in court and believes that once the facts and law are laid out, he'll be fully vindicated. He's banking on due process clearing his name, but Jane Doe's lawyer Tony Busby came right back swinging. He pointed out that all those explicit texts Shannon's team released, they were dated before the alleged assault even took place. According to Busby, those messages were part of a distraction tactic, meant to cloud the public's judgment and steer attention away from the actual accusations laid out in the lawsuit. Busby wasn't done. He dropped his own batch of receipts. In one of the texts after the alleged incident, Jane Doe wrote, I cried when you left because I begged you to put a protection on and not put it in my behind, and you didn't listen. She followed up with, I don't care what our history is. No means no, Shannon. I don't know how to process this.
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
And what was Shannon's alleged response? He simply asked, can I call you later? That message sent chills through the timeline because it felt way too casual for what she just said. But Busby kept going. He also dropped audio clips where Shannon, allegedly, could be heard threatening to choke Gabrielle. In another clip, he reportedly made unsettling comments about a big black guy choking a small white woman. After dropping that audio, Tony Busby didn't hold back. He released a statement saying thus, "The contents of this clip are certainly not playful. They are disturbing, aggressive, and dangerous." According to him, the audio paints a chilling picture of how Shannon allegedly treated Jane Doe. So much so that she fled Nevada and cut off all contact just to get away from him. And let's be real, this entire situation is a massive, tangled mess. Between the lawsuit, the leaked text, the audio clips, and now Dave Chappelle stepping into the ring with claims that this could all be a setup, yeah, it's straight out of a Hollywood scandal script. When you put the pieces together, it does start to raise eyebrows, especially when you realize Shannon was this close to securing a $100 million deal for Club Shay Shay. If Dave's right and there are powerful people trying to silence him, that podcast deal might have been the final straw. They couldn't risk Shannon getting a bigger platform to air out even more dirty secrets. There's still so much that hasn't come to light yet, and this story is far from over. But what do you think about Dave Chappelle's claims? Do you believe this is a takedown attempt, or is Shannon finally facing consequences? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear all of it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and smash that bell so you never miss the next scandalous breakdown. See y'all in the next one.